you doing today, Faren?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
It's weird, like the weather. It's been kind of trippy last week. So 2 weeks ago, I was at the Dominican Republic and I came back last week and, it's like freezing.
Yeah.
And then this week is like warm.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's weirdly beautiful. It's a good thing and a bad thing, I think, right?
Yeah. And then it's kind of scaring me because I'm like, no, it cannot be like that. Something bad is going to happen, like a big old blizzard.
We do have a second winter. Usually, how South Dakota comes. It's fake spring right now. It's how the weather is. It's like the most bipolar state we live in. You can't decide on what it's going to be today.
Are you originally from here, around here?
Born and raised in South Dakota.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm trying to get used to it because I'm from Texas. I'm from the South.
Yeah.
So the weather's been, oh man, again.
Yeah, you could wake up tomorrow and we could have 10 inches of snow. That's something that has happened before.
Yeah, and it's super weird. So when we came back from the Dominican Republic, I'll make it short. So we went from Atlanta to Omaha, and I woke up. We were about to arrive, and there's a big old snowstorm. And I thought you're not supposed to fly in the snow. And I'm like, I think I fell back to sleep. And then we landed. Everything's cool. And then we carpooled, all of us in a van, and we're heading to back here to Vermillion from Omaha. And I'm like, it's like 1 or 2 in the morning. So I'm like going, coming back. Yeah. And then I wake up and I think we're in like Sioux City. I cannot see the roads, or I can't see anything. It's like, it was a Saturday. It was like, a bunch of snow. And I'm freaking out in my mind. I'm like, oh man, what are we going to do? And then, I'm dozing off, but we're cool. We get there and then I see all this snow. I'm like, oh snap. And now today there's like no snow. And I'm like, that's weird. I don't know.
Yeah, man. It's crazy weather. It's like been 100-degree difference for some places.
Yeah.
From Tuesday morning, it was like -30 with the wind chill in like places like Aberdeen, in the middle of our state.
Yeah.
And then now today it's like 60 degrees.
Yeah. And I'm going to enjoy it as much as I can.
Exactly. You take the good with the good. And I guess look the other way for the other stuff, right?
Yeah. Hey, so we were talking a little bit about this. So, you have a Spider-Man tattoo, right?
I do, yeah.
Are you a big Spider-Man fan?
Big, yeah. That was like, yeah.
Who's your favorite Spider-Man? Like in the live action movies? There's like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. You got Andrew Garfield.
Say like the one that I believe that is the most that like Spider-Man from reading the comics and stuff was Andrew Garfield.
Really?
But he was too good looking, you know what I mean? I say if you put like Tobey Maguire, kind of like him with Andrew Garfield's acting skills and the way that he was with the role, that's kind of a good combo. Holland's got the skills to be the Spider-Man. He's actually got the athletic skills,
Yeah, they said, I don't know if it's true, but they said that they kind of want to get Andrew Garfield back for another, I guess for a third film. He's the only one that doesn't have it.
Right.
Did you like that? What was that called? It was No Way Home. Is that the one, all three of them?
So everybody wants to criticize all the Marvel stuff, of course. They want to criticize movies and they're like, this is bad, this is bad. But I grew up reading comic books, so for me, they're all kind of good. I find the happiness in all that moments. And sure, you can nitpick everything and be like, this could have did this and they could have put in this part and could have explained more here. But at the same time, you got to remember, like, those comic books they're stories and they're long stories.
Yeah.
And detailed stories. And to try to put all that information into, we've always seen it, book to movie transitions don't usually go very well. It just.
Yeah, I like the different interpretations, because if you watch, so I grew up with watching the movie with Tobey Maguire. I'm from '95.
Yeah,
so
it was amazing to me. I loved it. I loved it.
I still think it's amazing. Spider-Man 2, when he's with Doc Ock, I still rewatch those fight scenes on YouTube.
That's one of my favorite ones, is Spider-Man 2, like the original Spider-Man 2.
It's great. I like it. And then I remember the Andrew Garfield came out, and then the first one, I don't know if it was a little more, well, it wasn't dark. I felt like a little more like a serious tone, a little bit. And then the second one with Andrew Garfield came out, and I still enjoyed it. Then Tom Holland's came out. The only thing there was no Uncle Ben, but I guess it's fine because we already saw the Uncle Ben's. But I still like that, the one with Tobey Maguire. It's just, I grew up with it.
Same.
Same thing. Maybe like kids nowadays, they grew up with the Tom Hollands. They'll like that one. It's the same with like, do you play video games?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Are you familiar with The Legend of Zelda?
Oh yeah. That was one of my favorite games growing up. That was like one of the hardest games ever still.
Yeah. So this is what I've heard. So I love video games a lot. That's why I could go deep into it. So this is what I've heard with like a Legend of Zelda game. They say your favorite one is usually the first one you play or like complete. So either mine is between, it's Wind Waker, or it's between Twilight Princess. Wind Waker, if people won't know, it's from the GameCube era, and it's one that's cel shaded, more of a cartoony. I got that one for Christmas, and it was like the first Zelda game I played. I've seen like my cousins they play like Ocarina of Time on the N64.
Sure.
But this is the one I owned, and I started playing it, but I never like finished it when I was younger. Now I have. But then I remember I got the Nintendo Wii, and I think months later I picked up Twilight Princess, and it was the first game I actually like completed, and I fell in love. Like that stuff is insane.
OG Zelda, that's my favorite. But then I think it's like the Legend of Link. I think, is that the one? I think that something like that.
Yeah, the one with the. Are you still talking about like? Are they still in 2D?
Nah, this is when they introduced Link's like storyline or whatever.
Oh yes, it's so yeah, Legend of Zelda, and then they had the Adventure of Link.
The Adventure of Link.
Yeah, it's like a side scroller. Yeah, that game is hard.
That was mine. I like that one. So I used to play this game called Rygar. I don't know if you ever heard of it. And it was the same kind of style. You know, it was like it was side view like that. And it took me like, I love finishing games was kind of my thing. And it took me forever to beat this game because like, you know, I didn't get to buy games. I had to go rent them, you know, back in the day, you know, you get the weekend to play video games. And so we went and my mom would rent me this game, and she'd always try to get me to get different games that were a little more challenging. And this one was like a puzzle game, you know, it was just you run around and it's back in the time. So you have a shield, and it was like a throwing shield, and you can, Anyway, it took me a while to figure out this one piece of the game, and then same kind of concept, you know, like with the Zelda game, like. Yeah,
because those Zelda games, they have, so people know they have to know the game, but like, you know, it could be an adventure kind of action game, but there's the puzzle element. There was one on the Nintendo DS, and it was Legend of Zelda, not Spirit Tracks, it was Hourglass, and I had the touchscreen, and then there was a part I could not. It was with the door, and I could not figure it out. I was in the door, and then you had to draw some. I don't know. You had to do something, and I was like, dude, I don't know what to do. I can't figure it out. So I closed my DS, and then because we were on a trip, and then I opened it, and that was the key. You had to close it for this specific one.
You just shut it off and then turn it back on.
Yeah, you just had to like close it, and that's it. I was like, that is.
But that's cool. I mean, that's the whole puzzle. It's like that's why I love Zelda too. You know, a lot of today's games they guide you along too much. And plus you have you have the internet, you have your phone, you have every resource you can get to figure out the game. You know, back in the day, we had the game magazine that was like
Nintendo Power or
the Power magazine or whatever, right? And then, you know, that was like a $30 magazine. So there was no chance you were getting it. There was no way your mom was buying a $30 video game magazine, you know? So you'd have to figure it out through your homeboys at school on the playground talking about the game or something, you know? Yeah.
Or like they had your friends, they heard like the rumors. Like, for example, I'll give you the example. People know like the Pokemon games. So like, I remember the Game Boy and Game Boy Color, it was Pokemon Red and Blue and Gold and Silver. And they would talk about getting Mew. And the rumor was like, oh, you got to get him. He's under the bus or under some truck or the missing though. And there's all these other stuff like, man.
But certain things you had to do. You know?
Yeah. But nowadays, you could just kind of like Google everything.
You get stuck in a spot and you get frustrated and you're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And also like, I might be a different audience than nowadays. So a lot of people like, you know, first person shooters is that. I could play them. It's not really like
they're fun, but
but I like platformers. I like those action adventure games. I like puzzle games. I like that. I love platformers, and I like hard platformers. And nowadays, like, and it's fine. It's an option. Like there's a like New Super Mario Brothers. I think it was New Super Mario Brothers U. One of those. They have an option where if you can't beat the level, it'll play the level for you. And I'm like,
No,
don't do that. I mean, it's an option. You don't have to pick it. But I'm like, no, you gotta. Like, there's this indie game. It's called Super Meat Boy. And if people know it, this game is hard. It's like, it's a platformer, and it's a quick platformer. So it's, bunch of levels. You just got to get to 1.1 point.
Yeah.
There's things that are coming after you. And then if you die, you start over.
Yeah.
And that game I beat, and I felt so proud because that game's hard.
Because it's just grinding.
Or like there's a game called Cuphead. That game is, man, I love the style because it looks like those old, like, what is it, 30s or 40s Mickey Mouse type of black and white. It looks just like that.
Okay.
But this game is like, it's a side scroller, kind of like a side scroller shooter. But it's amazing. It's amazing. But this game is hard as balls, dude. This thing is hard. Like, it's not hard as in like, oh, it's just throwing everything at you. No, like, you got to find the pattern.
You got to you got to figure the pattern out in that.
Yeah, that stuff I like. And then I'll go one more, and then we'll go back to what we're going to talk about. There's also these what they call them, the soul-like games, like Dark Souls or Elden Ring, this and that. I wasn't too much of a fan of those because it's still newish to me, especially like the 3D environment. Because if you die, first, you cannot pause the game. Right. That's the first. Right. I didn't know you could. You cannot pause it. Like, you press pause, it just shows your menu, but the game's still going. I'm like, that's very weird. The checkpoints, there's only specific like campsites or fireplaces you got to go to.
Or you got to save often. Make sure you save often or something.
And you
like your Red Dead Redemption,
Yeah, and then, but this one, like, if you die, you like start almost over and you lose your stuff. Like, I was very turned off by it until I played Elden Ring.
Yes.
And then you just got to find the pattern. But like, these games are hard. Like, it's not like those games where, just press the button and pop.
Yeah, button mashing.
No, this one, there's a pattern. And then it knows your pattern. So it's slower. It's also the same thing. Like the weapons, it's more of a slower pace. So it's not like boom and then bah.
It depends on what weapon you're using too.
Yeah. Right? So that one, I think also like Monster Hunter is fun. Oh man, I could go on about this.
Go on and on.
Yeah, but this stuff is fun. But so this is why I wanted to get you on, Faren. So I think I also met you a while back. I was at the 4-H. They were talking about, there was a few other people talking about, what can we do for like local farmers and this and that. I was with my wife.
You were at the meeting. That's right.
Yeah. It was me and my wife. That's why.
I wonder why I recognized you. Yeah. I was trying to piece you because I watched a couple of the podcasts to see what I was getting myself into,
Yeah, but that's where I met you, and because they were talking about, because they're trying to see like local restaurants combining everything, with local, trying to keep stuff local if it's possible.
Absolutely, like and it is possible. I mean, it's just a matter of how you're gonna, and are you gonna limit what you serve because of what the season is? Because when it gets down to the season, I mean, we don't get much, and you have to store properly, and you have to prepare for that. Yeah, if you're gonna do that, So instead of just being like, well, no, we're just gonna shift gears and buy from the commercial guys now, because we want to serve this, and that's what the transition, and it's a tough thing to do because you're gonna have the people, well, I want this and I want this and I want this, but this is what we're serving, and like this is
makes sense.
It's difficult to do because of how our eating habits are. Here in this country, we just eat whatever we want, whenever we want, however much we want.
So let's go to the beginning. So how did it start? Like, did you always want to become a chef when you were a kid, or? Man,
actually, this is a weird thing. So I wanted to do a bunch of other things too. I wanted to fly Apaches and Cobra helicopters and jets and things like that. We would come from a Marine family, so Marines were always an option, and the Marines were cool, and so that was always an option. But from I can remember back to being 9 years old and sticking my nose in the kitchen with my mom and her teaching me how to make, bread, fry bread and deer meat and things like fried potatoes and eggs, and at a very young age. And I was just enthralled with that. So, and as I got older, I just kept, and we get to the grill, we're going outside and we're grilling next. And then, I find out that a lot of product we make, I find out what that is. It's where it comes from, how it's produced in a factory. And I'm just like, well, how's it actually produced? And then Food Network becomes a thing. I get Julia Childs. I watched Julia Childs growing up, like, because PBS was one of the only channels that was on late. So you had people like Jacques Pepin and Julia Childs. And Julia was cool to watch because it was interesting. She was fun. She made the cooking show fun. And not even knowing half of the 90% of what she's making and understanding half of the French stuff, that it's kind of where I got interested in French cuisine. Because I know they do good things. They do good food. Like the preparation and the organization and recipes. And it was great. Mm-hmm. And from that, obviously picked up to the Food Network. You had people like Emeril Lagasse, the BAMs, and Kick It Up a Notch. And, and like that got me more interested, finding out what goes into the actual product that we get on the shelves, and finding out that product is not very good for you. And at a young age, and then discovering farmers and what they do for the world and where your product actually comes from. It was young. I was probably 13 or 14 when I decided that, I was going to be a chef for sure.
Whoa.
Yeah. My first job was 13. I got a little under the table job, just cash on the weekends, getting paid like $10 an hour. And in 1993, that was a huge amount of money for a lot of people.
Yeah. Especially for a kid.
Yeah. And for me, I'm getting a couple $100 every week on a Saturday night.
That's awesome. So are you, some of these questions are coming from my wife because she's passionate about the food. I'll explain later.
Yeah.
But she wanted to ask you, she said, ask him do you have to go to school to cook? Do you have to have this specific training or whatever? How do you become a chef?
Chef, technically, I still don't even consider myself a chef on that scale of the magnitude of what they bring it to, the level of like a Michelin star chef or like a Gordon Ramsay or something like that. But I believe an actual chef is somebody on the art part of it that just cooks for love, cooks for food, cooks to serve. Mm-hmm. Like it brings the product that would normally just be something that we may have just not even look at even, and we take that and we put it into an artistic thing that you eat that is nutritional and great for your body and makes you feel good. Good food makes you feel good.
Yeah.
And it is good for your body. So, how to become a chef is you got to put time and work in. Like you just got to practice and practice and practice. You can go to school, sure, and pay $63,000 and get yourself in debt for the rest of your life, like I did. Or you can just grind it out in the workhouse too, because we have chefs that I call chefs that are mostly chefs that have worked their way up from the dish pit.
Really?
Yes. And in the restaurant business. And those people have more skills and more talent than somebody that paid to go to France and comes out of the CIA sometimes, most of the times, actually.
Okay.
They actually have the cooking skills where a lot of your knowledge chefs are labeled chefs. They just have the knowledge of it, but they can't actually put it to work,
Okay. Because that's something that me and Myra are talking about. Because she says she wants to, I guess, she wants to take it more serious. Because what we do, and I won't go too much on it because this is about me or isn't about us. We also have like a little food business, Mexican food. A few years ago, we had the idea. We're like, hey, there wasn't any like authentic Mexican food, and my parents are from Mexico. My wife is from Mexico, born and raised, and my daughter's born in Mexico, and it's the same area.
Yeah.
So I'm very familiar. I'm not bashing on like Tex-Mex food. I'm not actually. I like Mexican food.
That's just great. Yeah, that's just an innovation of it. Like
exactly. That's why some people they'll ask me, "Oh, what do you think about when like Mexico Viejo, this and that, or Mamacitas?" I'm like,
gringo tacos are delicious, man.
I'm like, it depends what it is, but it's good. Like I no shame, man. Hey, you reinvent it. It's all good with me.
You had to work with the ingredients that were here. Exactly. Is what it is. You go to Japan and China, and the Chinese cuisine that's over here is completely different, but it's the same preparation. It's the same techniques.
Mm-hmm.
It's just with what the ingredients are here. So
yeah, so that's why for me, I'm okay with it as long as it tastes good.
Same.
Yeah, it's all good.
Categorize nothing. I don't like categorizing food. I think when you categorize a chef and say that this is a French chef or this is a Mexican chef or something like that, it's just like an artist, that paints, they only do a certain type of art. You're putting them in a corner, you're boxing them.
You're right.
And I don't see, that's another thing about a chef. Becoming a chef, I think that I learned more from like my mother, grandmothers, abuelas that I've met. They've taught me more than some of the chefs I've met. And a lot of the chefs I've met that I've wanted to learn from, I've had to kind of prove to them that I'm worthy of their knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Like the industry has kind of produced a image of an ego that the chef gets to, so.
Yeah, I feel that. And then with Myra, the way, because we're like, hey, let's make some street tacos just like in Mexico. No food truck because people might, okay, I'll talk about the area where my family's from. There's not really food trucks. It's usually a cart, or they'll have like a little tiny business inside. And we're like, well, let's do the street thing. So we started doing that in Vermillion. Then we did like a ribs raws or whatever. And a Thursday, then we started doing a bunch there's a flower farm. If people know Flourish Flower Farm, that's what we started doing. Then we started doing a little bit at the brewery. Same thing, we did like tamales. But the way like Myra, I don't know, maybe it's like how you guys think, like she's just creative and this and that. I'm just tasting food. I'm like, I think it's good, this and that. But like the way you guys create food, like it's not like maybe also, I'll give an example. So with like tortillas, flour tortillas, for me, I'm not saying I'm an expert on food. I'm not a foodie or nothing, but like I've always grown up with, like, for example, like my mom and them making just authentic food, especially tortillas. And if people,
it's a fun thing too.
Yeah.
It's a whole, everybody's involved, right?
Yeah. But if you grab for me like a flour tortilla from the store, and I'm not the guy saying, oh, it's from the store, it's frozen, it's bad. No. But just for this one, I don't know what it is, but it has a weird smell and a taste, and it's just way off. But if you make it by hand, like Myra, my mom, or my whole family, it just tastes different. Especially like, that's why like when we did the tacos, let's make it all as authentic as we can. That's why like, it was the first time too, like we even grew like our chiles, it was the serranos and all that. And we're like, wow, we're using these ingredients to make like the salsas and this and that. The tamales, we do everything by hand. We go to all this stuff. And it was kind of cool because that's like, before I was like, where does this food come from? And like, and it's cool because you can make it and people just don't know that. I'm not saying I'm against like frozen, ready to go meals.
No, they got a good product out there. I mean, yeah, that's why it's out there. I mean,
yeah, but I like how you guys do it, especially like I've been hearing stuff. I still haven't went, and I need to go this week because we've just been pushing it. Because Myra and me, especially Myra, she loves tasting different food from anywhere. Because I think she's a foodie. She loves that stuff.
You can tell she's already got the chef in her.
Yeah,
so,
she has that, and we've been talking about we need to go because I've been hearing the place is good. But what makes it like, I guess what makes it different than like a Domino's or something? Like
everything's homemade, brother. Like we make the dough's homemade, the sauces are homemade. We make our own sausage. We make our own beef. Like, we use raw beef. We season everything ourselves. We're moving into the steps, like down the road, we want to produce our own pepperonis. We want to have a little smokehouse in there. We probably already talked to Hex Barbecue.
Yeah.
Hopefully can get him to smoke my meats for me, and maybe we can work business where he sells pepperonis and logs of pepperoni or something. Who knows? We'll figure it out when I get to that point, because we're not even, we still have to use product right now. And there's great pepperoni out there. We have a great pepperoni that we get. So, but we would like to use something local. We have a hog farm that's right up the road that we can get.
Sweet. So
we can get the meat from. So it's not like about sourcing the meat. It's just now coming down to the time and money at this point.
So what made you want to, I guess, start it here? Like, what made you want to purchase the place and do something?
Well, in 2012, I worked my way to in Sioux Falls. I picked Sioux Falls because of the statistics of how Sioux Falls was growing. Like the number one growing city in America, number one place to raise a family, number one place to start a small business. The cost of living was super cheap. Everything was, like top 10, top 5 of what a city is supposed to be. So I knew that I could go being a nobody from small town South Dakota, like I could go to big city South Dakota, big city Sioux Falls, and do something there. I hoped anyway. So it took me a while, and we just worked at various restaurants as much as I could, gained as much knowledge as I could, and then went to culinary school, of course, in that process, because the whole culinary school process was kind of a personal thing, I guess, just to, to make more money, because with a title, you make more money. If you're just a line cook and you're like, oh, I have all these skills and yeah, I'm a chef. And they're like, well, how do you prove that you're a chef? You have no credentials to prove that. So going to the culinary school was what that was. And yeah, it did bump up the wage, but the debt accrued to the wage that you make, it takes a while for you to actually get to a position to where you're going to make that, which I'm at now, and I'm in my 40s. So the debt's pretty much paid off, at least. But I don't know, man. Like, the reason I came here in 2012, I started the food truck and it went great. So when I first started the food trucks, and like you said you started a little cart or whatever, right? Taco. I got a 34-foot RV.
Ooh.
Yeah. And gutted. It was gutted. It had already been like a little cupcake thing or something. So, we moved it around and opened up a food truck in 2012. And in Sioux Falls, there were no food trucks at the time. I'm not saying there were like zero food trucks. There just weren't any like everyday food trucks, late night food trucks, on the curb food trucks. Yeah. Like how they are now, and how we have in Vermillion, and how, the taco trucks that have started everywhere and Mexico and moved up in through California and spread throughout the world. But there were none of those in Sioux Falls yet. So I was like technically the first one to do that. And we got this big RV and we painted it in chalkboard paint, like black chalkboard, so you could draw on it.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah. We started with our menu, put our menu on it and stuff, what it would be, because we had a rotating menu just like we do now. The Che Quoine has not changed from that concept, because we're seasonal. We rotate the menu because we wanted to keep it fresh, and we wanted to keep it. We were shopping from the farmer's market every week, so sometimes they didn't have enough peppers that we wanted, so okay, well, now the menu is going to change. We were making curry, but now we're not going to make curry because we don't have sweet potatoes, or we don't have. You
adapt.
You have to, you know what I mean? Improvise, overcome, and adapt. So that's why we really don't. We at the food truck, when we opened 2012, I didn't really want a set menu. You knew that you were going to get a rice bowl. You knew that you could get some sandwich options. Then there was going to be dessert options, and not only that, but we were pushing like vegetarian, meatless as much as we could, We're meat potatoes country, so you can't really go away from it. But that went full circle. I tried to expand into a building because we were kicking butt on the food truck scene. We were doing well. I was doing well. And I tried to expand into a restaurant, ended up partnering with some people and becoming just a worker, and food truck kind of went to the side, ended up running restaurants for the next few years. Food truck collected dust and start breaking down. And then I pretty much invested all the capital that I had on trying to buy these restaurants, and nothing ever panned out. And so that was like 2014. And I got rid of the truck and said, okay, we're going to start over. I was like, no banks, no investors, nobody else involved in the next venture we do. And our pizza closed in 2023, I think it was. Yeah, like August of 2023, I think. And my sister living here, of course, and having the tattoo shop, the Ikdomi Ink tattoo shop, I think she had been here for a year or two at that point. She mentioned it to me, and she had talked to somebody, and they said, well, if he's serious about something like that, contact the Our Pizza page. So yeah, I'm just working in Sioux Falls at this point, and I'm just working. You know, I'm running a kitchen, and I'm just being an executive chef somewhere, and I've been looking to try to get back to something of my own. Like I need a place, I need a spot. I've been trying to get a food truck, you know, like trying to find something to get me back to ownership and starting the message that I want to push, you know, eat healthy, eat seasonal, eat right, eat good for yourself. And yeah, so then we start talking, and it took a good 6, 7, 8 months somewhere in there to work out a deal that would get me in there. And obviously there's renovations to do and blah, 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 blah. But yeah, so I mean, it wasn't the ideal place. It wasn't the ideal thing. We originally weren't even going to do our pizza and have the pizza because we didn't, you know, we're just like, man, we did some research and looked at some of the pages that we're on, and they were like, our pizza's closed. What does people want to see? And we were just thinking about it, and we're just like, you know, I'm from here. So I came back and talked to a few people and got some inside information about what they thought about our pizza still. And there was still a demand for it, you know, and us thinking about it, I'm just like, yeah, man, it's been here for 50 years, 3 now, I think 53 years, I think. So we decided to keep our pizza, or just like something that it's a need, it's a want, and it's nostalgic for the town. You know, the town wants to keep it here. So then we'll bring something else with it. We'll bring also us, and then we'll just feature our pizza.
No, that is cool. Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of why it happened. It happened because I guess it was the right place, right time. Opportunity presented itself, and people worked with us to get us in the door, because we're not, like I said, no banks, no loans. You know, we did this out of pocket, and we tried to do this, you know, just the family basically, you know. Yeah,
no, that's good. How's the feedback and everything been so far? I've been hearing good things.
Yeah, we got good feedback. We're just, you know, we got to a point, we had some city codes that stifled us with the cost of, you know, we have a fire suppression system that we need
I heard that.
Yeah, we need to update. And that's a lot of money to do, obviously. So, you know, we're trying to, we were hoping, you know, that in the time that we had opened, that's why we opened the way we did, is we could only do basically pizzas, and we do have limited food. We have baked sandwiches, and we have baked sides and things that we can bake, because that's about all we have able to do with the fire suppression system not allowing us to use our grills and flat top and fryers and burners and things like that. So working on that, we were hoping that we'd be able to generate enough just with business. But you know, we fell behind on we fell behind on everything. So we just had to play catch up for a little bit, and you know, we're finally getting to we're caught up for the most part, you know, and now we're just at like a stagnant state where we're paying costs, you know, we're doing fine on the cost part. And we're trying to get the doors open for the seating, because if we had seats, you know, we probably wouldn't have much of an issue with being able to save a little extra money, because that would generate us however much cash with some seats. And we've been trying to get extra seats in there. And another thing we're doing with the seating is you've never been in the Our Pizza at all?
I've been there once.
Okay, so there's like a bar when you walk in, basically like a service counter almost. Yep. Yeah. So my first job when I was here at 13, I told you about, was a little place called Marge's. And we were eating at her place for a good couple years before that. And she had been at, like, there was this place called like the Coyote Grill. She was there. There was another joint over by this, where the old Pizza Hut is, which I think it's a Mexican restaurant now. Fayuca. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. So there used to be like this little eatery place there. A long time ago, it was Bimbo's, a burger fries shop. And then there was like another little, I don't know if it was Coyote Grill again or something, but I can't remember what that was. But she was there for a minute. And then she finally got her own place in this little 12-seat diner that, man, it sits right in between, like right off of Main. Well, it used to anyway. There's like a spot where you look in between these buildings that looks like there used to be something there. And because there used to be a little 12-seat diner there called Marge's. So what we're going to be doing with that, because I grew up there, or I grew up here and I work there, we're going to chop that bench down to make it a diner counter. And we're putting diner seating on that to pay homage a little bit to old Marge, because she was like, that was someone who really like juiced me into the culinary world, because, you know, she grew her own vegetables and she made her own spices. She made her own rubs and stuff. And she cooked everything from scratch there. You know, she was like a half product or part product, but mostly cooked from scratch, like in a little 12-seat diner.
Whoa, that is cool.
So so my first job was prepping and dishwashing and doing kind of what I do now, making pizzas and calzones and hot sandwiches.
And now you're an owner or business owner, and you're gonna. So we got a little hodgepodge of a bunch of little things going on, trying to keep the nostalgia of what Vermillion still had, where I came from, you know, like with the business, I'm trying to tell a little story about myself too, you know. I think people don't realize how hard, how tough the food business, the restaurant business is. Because, you know, I'm not an expert. Myra is, but especially the stuff we've done, like before when we were going to start, like, oh, it seems easy. We'll make food and make some money. But then you forget the prep. Man, the prep is insane. And then also, I think that could be the marketing. And also, you know, it might be the numbers, but also maybe there's just a bad day. Weather, because since we're outside, like it's all these different things. Some days are good. Some days are some days are bad. You learn, you adapt, and it's actually hard. And I gave credit to you guys, especially like my wife, because she also worked in when she was younger. Like that stuff is hardcore. And she yells at me too. I tell her she's like Gordon Ramsay. She yells at me, but you guys are.
Have you ever seen the meme where it says, I don't know if you've ever seen The Bear? It's a TV show about a chef.
Is it no, I'm thinking about a different one. Never mind.
Yeah. But anyway, it's, I can remember her name. I think his name is Jeremy Allen White. I think that's the guy. He's from Shameless. I know him from Shameless as Lip, is what I know him as. But anyway, it's like a chef show. I've never actually watched full episodes or whatever, but there's a meme where it's got him screaming and he's like, I need some help over here. And then the next line, it says, not like that. I'll do it myself. Like,
I like you know, Hell's Kitchen, right?
Oh yeah.
Have you seen MasterChef also?
Of course. Yeah. I mean, Gordon Ramsay's, he's awesome. Like the image they portray on him on TV is not who the guy actually is. You know?
Yeah. I think those are one of those, like those shows. I think that helps out. I think that's what made, like, especially cooking more popular. I think, especially with, well, that's how I'm not like a cook. Actually, I'm not. So my wife is an amazing cook. I'm actually more of a baker. I like that. Yeah. I like following directions. And Myra, she just likes making stuff, like just adding this. But when she tries to bake, she's gotten better at it. But before, she says, "Oh, I'll just add." You know, she says she goes by feeling,
right?
And then she does it with baking, and a lot of the stuff.
Yeah, you can't do that with baking.
I try to explain. I'm like, no, this is more like it's actually kind of a science.
This is a science. Baking is the science. You know, and cooking is a science too. She doesn't realize how much science she's doing in the cooking. It's a little more forgiving when you're making a stew or a soup or a sauce or, you know, but not in the bread and cupcake world. No, you gotta.
Because then you could like how you were giving those examples, like you could kind of still make those adjustments. But when baking, it's, you know, you have it, you bake it, and it's very, very hard to, I guess, adjust because it's already finished.
You put too much salt in it, it's done. You know what I mean? You don't add any sugar, you know, it's done. Like,
yeah. You hopefully then don't kill the yeast.
You don't kill the yeast.
Make sure it rises. Make sure it doesn't overproof and this and that. I like that stuff. I like the bread stuff. I like, especially when I make my.
What kind of breads you make?
I like the conchas. Those, if people know, if they go to like a Mexican bakery, they're super common. You know, it's just like a sweetbread, and then there's a topping on it. If people know, I like making those by hand. Like I love that stuff. Something that I hate doing is cupcakes. I can make a cake. I suck at, like, you know, the
decorating part.
Yeah, that stuff. No, but I like I like doing stuff so it could taste good. But I hate cupcakes for some reason. I don't know what it is, but I hate cupcakes. I don't know.
I just don't like eating them either.
I hate eating them too. I don't know what it is. I'd rather just have a slice of cake, but I don't know. I don't know what it is. But that stuff is just.
You prefer slices or squares? I guess
Ooh,
it depends on the cake, right?
maybe. I like slices though.
We just had a poll because traditionally our pizza does squares.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So we've been doing traditionally squares, but we just had a poll and, we put it out to the city of Vermillion. And I said, well, what do you prefer, slices or squares? And 80% or something like that preferred slices.
Uh-huh.
So yeah. So now we're going to switch to slices and then squares upon request.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay, I got one. Hold on. Tell me, what do you think about pineapple on pizza?
I don't know. I don't mind it either way.
Yeah.
We actually have a pizza that has pineapple that is obviously not, it's not Hawaiian style, but it's called the Woodle. And it's pepperoni, jalapenos, and pineapple.
Okay. See, Myra likes, when we order pizza, well, actually, so I changed that. Every Friday, it's been like that for like, 2 or 3 years. We make pizza. I want to say I make the pizza. I make the dough, but she puts like toppings and everything. I guess I do like baking and doughing. But I don't know why it's just me and her. Like, she likes the pineapple. I don't hate it, but I'm just like, it doesn't, I feel like it doesn't improve, or it doesn't give me anything. So I'm like, I don't want the pineapple. But there's a few things that she does different. Maybe, I don't know if it's because in Mexico they probably eat pizza different, but like when I grab a slice of pizza, I fold it. And she says, "What's wrong with me?" I'm like, "What do you mean? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "How do you eat the pizza?" And she has it, and it's like tipping. I'm like, "No, that's why you fold." And she's like, "That's weird." I'm like, I don't think it's weird. Yeah, people fold pizza. Like, is that common? Or am I just weird?
I would say, especially if it's a slice.
Yeah. That's
because you know what, you don't want it. You do want the droopy look, like when you pull it, right? Because you want the pull of the cheese, right? You want that TV effect, which they use paste, by the way. They use glue for that. You know that, right?
I've seen those commercials, or like when they make commercials.
Yeah,
it's not even like
you should know that, man. You're in the TV world. You probably know all the little tricks that they're using, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, but then when you're eating it, you don't want it.
Yeah.
Like, you want to be able to.
Oh, yeah. The function.
I don't think it's weird, but at the same time, we have so many. Everybody has personal settings to what they.
Yeah, anyone can. There's no rules on how to eat. Maybe it's just me and my wife, just like going back and forth. But something that I'm still kind of like not into it, and it's a common thing. And I don't want to say Mexico, but the area where my whole family's from, it's very, very common. They put ketchup on pizza.
That's wild.
Yeah, they put ketchup on pizza and they'll put like a chimichurri, but it's not the one from Argentina. It's not a green one. It's something completely. I think it's like a mayo-based spicy. It does taste good.
Pretty good. Huh?
But
it's not chimichurri like you.
No, it's not. And but when they put it on pizza, maybe it's just me because I'm just so used to like just a regular pizza. So it doesn't taste bad with the ketchup, but I'm just like, I'd rather just not put the ketchup on it. And then we'll get into like that debate, me and her. She's like, it's the same as the sauce. It's tomato. I'm like, well, it's
not. No, ketchup's like tomatoes, vinegar, and sugar. Like,
yeah. So that's where our pizza thing comes from. So when we make pizza, it has to be half whatever she puts, and I keep it simple sometimes. Yeah. I'm a simple guy, but that's our stuff on just pizza. So if like in case we ever like call or order, if you see like a bunch of pineapple, it's probably my wife getting it.
We cut it fresh.
There we go. Yeah. Now I'm curious. I might ask for squares. See what
see what happens.
Yeah. So what kind of cuisine? Or you mentioned the cuisine like French, but what is there like specific dishes you like enjoying, or what do you like cooking?
Everything, honestly. That's why it switches so much. That's why I change. Like even though like we're limited to like basically like sandwiches and rice bowls and like some stews and stuff that I can bake, put in the oven and bake and stuff like that. But it's just one day I look at the menu like I want to change my pizza menu right now. You know what I mean? Like I'm ready to change that too. Obviously, we're going to keep some of the staples that exist, but things that are coming out of season, your citrus fruits and pineapple and things like that are coming out of season.
Yeah, you're right.
So. That your oranges, I already noticed the oranges taste like, they taste like crap now. They're hard to peel and
yeah, they are different. See, people, I know. I'm not an expert, but nowadays we pay attention to this stuff.
Yeah.
especially we noticed with
Your
chiles.
apples are a little mealier, like they're, because they've been sitting around a little bit now, like they've been sitting in warehouses a little longer. Like,
what are some like misconceptions you think people got about like restaurants? Because I know, like, for example, in Vermillion, I love this place. I so far it's been amazing.
Yeah, Vermillion so far. I mean, I went to high school here.
Yeah.
I've been gone for like 20 years, but I'm back. So yeah, and I'm still here. It's been 6 months, so I haven't left yet.
Yeah, there's a lot of people they like going out to eat. They want food. I always hear it. When I talk to people, they're like, "Oh, they want more restaurants." That's the most common thing. They just want more restaurants and a Target for some reason.
Target boutique.
Yeah, but people just don't realize like how, like I was saying, it's very it could be difficult to like start something. Of course, people, they say they want a diner, they can say like an Indian restaurant, they want everything, but it's very, very difficult. I mean, you know how difficult it is, right?
It is, yeah, you bet. I mean, it is. You're right, 100%. And like that's why I said I was not able to do this in Sioux Falls. There's no way to start a restaurant in Sioux Falls. I mean, you're looking, and we're not even talking liquor license, which at this point you probably need to be in a restaurant in Sioux Falls. So just to do a restaurant, you're probably looking at $250,000. You know what I mean? Like,
whoa, that much?
I would think. Like that's. I mean, it was. It was way less than that to do that here. Way less, way less. Like I got in here for pennies basically on that. But after you're building and coating, and if you have to build anything, if you have to put in any of that fire suppression stuff, I mean that's $1,000 per foot. Like that's.
That's why. Yeah.
Like they're not. Yeah, and all them prices of everything has gone up. Significantly. So and it's probably not going to come back down, since we're just going to end up paying it and then just keep it there, so.
Yeah. Also, another thing that
the consumer game, right?
Another thing that I think people don't realize is it could be like, for example, people say, the price. Well, it depends where you're getting it. But I know, like, for example, and I won't sugarcoat it, especially when we sell food. It's more expensive than what you could get at, for example, at Sioux City or even like a Taco John's or something. And in the beginning, when we were thinking about prices, I was just so used to the price either in Texas, because I remember back then, get a taco for like, first it was like 75 cents and $1. And in Mexico, it's way, way cheap. And then that's what I thought we were going to do. But luckily, my wife is the smartest person ever. She's also an accountant. So
she's like, no, you can't do that.
She said, no. She said, we'll go broke. So like we priced it at this and that. And I'm like, whoa, that is high. But then now I wonder, man, it's a lot of work. And also we're grabbing, like, for example, the meat. It's not just meat we get at Walmart. We have to, we go to like the Hispanic places in Sioux City. And then we go to like other places to get stuff we can't find around here. And also the labor, the prep time, I'm telling you, like when we make tacos. We offer tacos, tortas, quesadillas. The quesadillas are the flour tortillas, and we make them by hand. And that stuff is,
there's hours right there.
Yeah, it takes a while,
especially if you make 100 tortillas. And
then salsas, like we make a red and a green, but we, like, my wife makes it. Like she makes it. We're not buying it from a store. The meat, we either do it, or I cook the meat like on the grill, like in the flat top, like people are seeing it, because that's something they do in Mexico. It's like you see us cutting the meat, and kids like that. They like watching. They never seen that.
Listen to that sizzle. Like,
that, and then you could just hear me pop, 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 pop. That, or like the tortillas. We're not buying like the corn tortillas. We're not buying it from, same thing, like Walmart or something. I'm not bashing on Walmart, but like we'll buy them like same thing, a specific place in Sioux City where they make it. It's just, and for me, I taste the difference between. Oh no,
you can taste the difference.
Yeah. So
you're talking about the earlier, and my opinion on that is that the reason why is because you have a machine making it. I think it's just meant, it's built and it's metal and it's moving parts, and it's just making your zzz, 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 you know what I mean? Like when you got somebody homemade making it, you got that energy of that person going into that food. You know what I'm saying? That's why it tastes different. That's why you can literally have 5 chefs in a room, 5 cooks, even whatever, give them all the same recipes, give them all the same ingredients, and that's all going to taste different.
You're right.
It's all going to have the similar taste because of what it is. Like they're making tacos. They're all going to taste like tacos.
Uh-huh.
But one of them's going to be better than the other, you know, like.
Yep. And that's what we do. We try, like, I want to give the customers, the people, first, I want to give them like good food. I want to give them good, authentic food where Myra's from. Like, just how, if you ever go over there, that's what you'll get. That's what we try to give. And hopefully, people haven't complained so far. I think only one person has complained. You know what? In the
It's
beginning,
gonna happen though. You know, I mean, you can't please the world, man. Like somebody is gonna be in the back room being like, "This is horrible."
Yeah. In the beginning, that first year when we were in downtown, it was the first day we, I guess, opened. We, usually I didn't know first. I guess openings are so many people. We weren't prepared. So we're figuring out everything. Now we kind of got, now we got it. But that first day, I saw a comment on Facebook. Usually it's been fine, but one comment, they were saying that, first of all, I was like, it's a complete lie. They were saying the tacos were very small and everything was small. I'm like, no, it's not. We offer this and that.
Yeah.
But they were complaining about it's outside. There's flies, the heat, the long line. I'm like, I can't control the long line. I can't control the outside weather. Like, it's a street taco. Like, I didn't say anything, but deep inside, it did hurt. I was like, well, then go to Taco John's or something. Like,
sit in your car, then, hit the drive-through.
But I liked how a lot of people here, because I thought, for example, tacos, I thought they were like very, very common around here, like in Texas, and they weren't. I had people asking me, they're like, because they said, what's in it? They thought it was a hard shell. I'm like, no. And they said, okay, give us with cheese. I'm like, wow, we don't put cheese on a taco. I said it's cilantro, onion, and you got your meat and you pick your green or red salsa. And someone like, there's no lettuce, there's no tomato, sour cream. I'm like, no. And then I was I've had that a few times, actually a bunch of times, but then they would eat it. And I was like, man, do they hate it? And they like it.
Yeah.
And they come back. I'm like, okay. So I thought it was something common. I guess it's not that. Well, I guess now.
Not up here, brother. Like, no way.
But that's.
I mean, potatoes. Let's give me a steak and some potatoes. Our tacos have a salad on them. Like,
yeah. Yeah. And then I've had people ask, they're like, do you guys have like chimichangas? I'm like, I don't know what a chimichanga is, but same thing like I was saying in the beginning, I'm not criticizing like Tex-Mex food, or if you don't know this.
Chimichangas are delicious, brother.
Yeah, like, I
big fried burrito, dude. Like, come on now.
Yeah, that got me going when I started watching those movies with Deadpool. He's like talking about chimichangas. Like, yeah, this stuff is like with the food. Like, I'm okay with innovating. I'm not gonna complain. People always ask me. I was saying, they're saying, hey, what do you think about mamacitas? And I was like, I like it. Whatever you order. If you ever go to Mamacita's, order it's called a molcajete. They give you all this stuff. And I like the people.
Yeah, that's a bit of the stew, basically. Yeah. The seafood stew.
Yeah, exactly. And I like the
grilled
people.
Shrimps and everything.
Yeah. Everyone's nice. Maybe it's because we speak Spanish with them. I went to El Nopal.
I haven't been there yet.
It's I ordered the same. They have almost the same menu.
Yeah.
I got their molcajete. It tastes different though. Yeah. It does taste different.
Of course. Probably different region, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, but I need to go again because that's how it is. Same thing with Mamacitas that first time. I ordered some, I don't know, I just ordered some burrito and it wasn't bad. It was just like plain.
Yeah.
But then Myra ordered something else and my daughter I think she ordered chilaquiles and that stuff was good. So
chilaquiles.
Yeah.
We're going to do some chilaquiles this week, actually. Awesome. Yeah.
What kind, green or red?
Red.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, dude, I love chili.
I got to go pick up my chilies in Sioux Falls. We got really good Mexican shops up there, actually. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, snap.
There's a pretty big Mexican community in Sioux Falls and markets, and there's a new one about to be opening up. It's called like Las Torres or something like that.
Oh, I need to head there because when we always get our stuff in Sioux City. Well, Sioux City has
Sioux City's got a good market too.
Yeah,
Sioux Falls is just bigger.
I never went over there or I've been to Sioux Falls a few times because I have an uncle. I have a few family there.
It's also only 23 minutes away, I think, to go to Sioux City. So and then
I need to check that because the only Mexican market we've been to was called what's it called? It started with an N. Nieto? I forgot, but we went there and it was it's kind of a little ghetto, as in, and not in a good way. Like you had like some homeless person over here, and then another one was inside yelling at everyone. I was like,
Yeah. Yeah, some of the markets are downtown and the downtown by the homeless area in Sioux
maybe that's
Falls.
right.
But yeah,
yeah, okay. I'm gonna go check.
they got
it
a
out.
little taco shop right around the corner too.
Man, okay. I need to go check out Sioux Falls more then. I've been hitting.
and then if you go up the road from where the little market is, it's called Nikki's.
Nikki's. Yeah, it's
Burrito
Nikki's.
Express.
Oh, okay. The market was just called Nikki's.
Yeah.
But I wonder if there's a.
That's a good market there. And then right up the road from there, there's Hernandez. That's where you can get corn tortillas. Hernandez.
Okay.
Yeah, they make all their things fresh there.
I need to tell
And then yeah, just kind of splattered all over. There's a little Mexican bakery that's kind of a few blocks over.
Oh, yeah, the Panaderías?
Yeah,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to check out Sioux Falls now.
Yeah. And there's, like I said, there's a new like full grocery store opening up with a meat market and everything. Mexican grocery store.
Oh, snap.
I think it's called La Torres. I'm pretty sure it's Las Torres or something like that.
Okay, now I'm going to check it out. Dang, see? Now there's
It's on Cleveland.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. Sweet. We're almost out of time. Now, so you got any last things, last words, any events or anything coming up that people should know?
We're just working on trying to get that open, man. You know, we offer catering. We do weddings. We're obviously on site. You know, I mean, we do have a catering menu posted on our page. In the future, we're looking to hopefully grow our own vegetables. So, you know, we're looking at land. You know, we're looking to move here and be closer to Vermillion so we can provide the town with more option for food. We're working on that seating, man. We're just trying to get that seating open. So
where can people find y'all at? I'll put the links and everything.
you can go to chequoine.com. That's where our website is. On Facebook, we're Che Quoine featuring Our Pizza. You can also use the Our Pizza page. That's all linked as one. We just kept it Our Pizza because it's Our Pizza, you know. So we'll leave it Our Pizza. We do got to GoFundMe up if anybody wants to throw a little cash at that.
Okay, I'll add that.
At that Ansel system there. That we had one, we found one, but Facebook Marketplace, but we just didn't have enough cash to go get it, so we lost it. So we'll try again.
Yeah, I like that. Ups and downs.
That's how it is. Small business, man. You know, I mean, and we just August, September, November. So I opened in November. I'm 12 weeks in. Now it's my fourth month.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're okay. I mean,
watch next year.
As long as they don't kick me out the building, I think we'll be fine.
No, that should be cool. Sweet. All right. Well, thanks a lot, man.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.